Doubt the stars are fire. Doubt that the sun doth move. Doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. William Shakespeare.
There will be days when you'll be forced to make decisions that affect the lives of everyone you love. Choices that will change you forever. You reach an age when you realize that being a man isn't about respect or strength. It's about being aware of all the things you touch. Children, they face inward, wallow in their own selfish needs. Men face out, take action on the needs of others. I'm at that place, boys. I'm staring one of those decisions in the face, and it looks back at me with historical eyes, and it calls me a coward, a killer, a fraud. It wants me to crack and run from the service of my fate like a broken boy. Today, I will not do that. Today, I will be the man my father tried to be. I will make you proud.
Way down in my soul.
The following program is rated podcast MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Hey, Bikeaholics and listeners alike, the show is still going strong because of a lot of hard work and your support, of course. Thanks to all those loyal listeners and true friends of the show that have supported us or are supporting us. For less than a coffee a month, you can help support us too and put a little fuel in the law-abiding biker gas tank to make sure this show keeps moving on down the road. So, calling all law-abiding bikers, head over to our Patreon page and take action today. You can do so at lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. Oh, did I mention there's benefits too? From all your friends at lawabidingbiker.com, we appreciate each and every one of you. God bless and ride safe. And now, straight from the Law Abiding Biker Media Studio,
out of sunny Yakima, Washington,
we bring you another episode of the
#1 listen to motorcycle podcast.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
Shall we do it, boys?
Let's do it.
Do it!
We're glad to be in your head.
We're in your head. Welcome back, you freaky, deaky Sons of Anarchy fans. You cult-like sons of bitches. Lurch, I got a hole in my soul. I've got a hole in my soul. Do you have a hole in your soul?
I do, and I'm slowly filling it with adult beverages.
Attaboy. That's right, guys. This is the special episode, the Sons of Anarchy episode. It is our last one because we all know it aired last night, the series finale. We got a lot to talk about. I got Lurch in the studio here. What up, Lurch?
What's shaking, my man?
I got Chewy over there in the studio. What up, Chewy?
What's crack-a-lackin'? There we are.
He's the man.
That's right.
So, guys, with that said, let's just get right into this stuff. That's right. I am Ryan Urlacher, your host of the Law Abiding Biker podcast, and your
high-tech redneck.
Guys, we're live for the last finale, the last podcast episode. The last TV episode was last night, and the last podcast episode, the official Sons of Anarchy podcast.
The
right
official. If we do say so ourselves.
That's how we roll. A lot of people
world
found
famous.
us. Yeah,
world famous.
We're definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. 30 plus countries, buddy. We were found by a lot of people that we hope will stick with us. You know, now that they like Sons of Anarchy and probably have a motorcycle or thinking about getting a motorcycle, and well, they found a home. And I know I've gotten a lot of emails like that, and we thank everybody for the support. I know there were some other SOA type podcasts out there. Yeah. And we don't mean to be conceited on that. I actually had Lurch and Chewy and some other guys listen to because I wanted to make sure that, okay, I get it. We're the host. We try to do a really good job. We think we're very passionate about this. We're very passionate in our podcast. You know, we believe in what we do. And so I was like, well, I can't just listen to it because it might be biased.
Well,
So-
we've become audio snobs over the
We have.
last couple of years, and that's the biggest thing is that the other podcasts just don't hold a candle to the quality of audio that we put out there.
Right. And they just don't seem passionate about it. It's kind of just blah. It's like if you're not passionate about the show, then, whatever. So I know that there's been a lot of emails going back and forth like that, and people saying, hey, thank God you guys started doing it, because there wasn't nothing out there as far as that goes. And so we appreciate that. We really do. And we take it seriously and try to give you guys and bring you awesome content, not only on the yearly or the regular weekly episodes, but on this special stuff. But of course, we will continue with how we started, which is our regular weekly podcast, guys, the Law Abiding Biker Podcast. So spread the word. That's how we started this thing, and we just kind of got into Sons of Anarchy podcasting about it the last couple seasons.
Well, if you're listening to our Sons of Anarchy podcast, you probably have an affinity towards motorcycles anyways. Whether you own one or not, our regular podcast is all about motorcycles, and we still got the same hosts, the same good audio content, the same humor, and so we invite you to stick around and keep on listening.
Absolutely.
It's a good time.
Did you guys hear my intro there? Obviously you did, because you got cans over your head. What did you think of my intro there? I put that together today.
That's not bad.
Not bad.
You were getting pretty decent at this, sir.
That was very good.
Did you hear the words, though? It was so appropriate for this episode.
Yeah.
And I believe I pulled that I believe that was a monologue in season 5. I can't remember, maybe episode 11 or 12 in season 5. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, so I thought that was very, very fitting for this particular deal. Oh boy, we got a lot to talk about, guys. We also have a couple things you guys will want to stick around for in the middle of this deal. We've got a giveaway, a special holiday Sons of Anarchy giveaway. I got some nice gifts.
What do you got in your bag?
Oh, I got something in my little bag, dude.
It is little.
2 balls.
Just got to hold a couple little jelly beans.
My twig and giggleberries. Yeah, so I do. I have got something in my little Santa sack, and somebody's going to win it. It's a contest. So I'll tell you guys a little bit about that, but I want to get started with some of the stuff here. If you guys do, want to help us out this holiday season, I encourage you to go to lawabidingbiker.com/Amazon, and that anything you buy after that, we get a small kickback. No additional cost to you.
It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I've done it.
Yeah.
The wife's doing it. I told her, because she uses Amazon, I said, it's easy. Just get on there. I showed her how to do it. Easy.
Right.
And then we get a little cabbage in the back end.
Yeah.
A little something. Not much. Just a little scratch.
Little scratchy scratch.
Just get a little, just enough to put a little fuel in the law-abiding tank.
Yeah. Love it. If you guys want the show notes for this, in all the show notes, especially the last couple episodes, I have all the music. I have affiliate links, iTunes affiliate links that will take you directly to the song. We get a small kickback. The show notes will all be at lawabidingbiker.com/SOA17. And again, music links there, iTunes affiliate links. There's an Amazon affiliate link if you want to get the whole series of DVDs for the entire series of Sons of Anarchy. It did air December 9th, 2014, last night, titled Papa's Goods.
A good title.
Anybody figure out why that was?
Do you guys know why that is?
I do.
Well,
let's see if Lurch
do
can.
too.
Hang
A
on.
couple of reasons. One, Papa finally made good. And 2, the truck said Papa's Goods on it that ran his
Bam.
butt over.
He
There
did
you
see
go.
it. Good job.
There you go.
Oh, I'm a trained observer, son.
There you go.
What a guy. What a
But
guy.
I think it's a double meaning. It's not just the truck that took him out. I mean, he made, whether it was he made good on his father's intentions or his own intentions, Papa done good in a twisted kind of way.
I like it.
Papa's Goods.
I was
That's
wondering
right.
how that was going to come about. Now let's start out with an email. You guys, this is a kind of cool email. And this is, of course, before last night's aired. And we're going to get into this little leg issue a little bit. So go ahead and read this, Chewy.
I'm going to butcher this name. I apologize.
Well, don't bitcher it. Whatever you do for the love of God, don't bitcher
doubt,
it.
dude.
That when I saw that name, I pointed at you, so you'd have to do it.
Is that what you did? That's awesome.
So this is from Kevin. Somebody want to help me out with that?
I'm going to
last
say
name?
Braunschweiger.
Bonschweiger of
Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. This is an email, and he's talking about, here we go, I'll just read it to you. You guys were talking about the lower leg pain that Jax had at the beginning of your podcast. I'm surprised that you did not think about the inherited cardiac troubles, which are in the genes of Gemma's side of the family. The truck driver who picked Gemma up noticed her surgery scars, and there was a short discussion on that subject between them. I think Jax has a heart condition, and it is being manifested and clearly pointed out in the show. Lower leg pain is a strong symptom of heart disease. Check this out. and he's given us a link. It's
no, you don't have to read it. It's just an article to what heart conditions
and
are.
then it says, by the way, thanks for doing the final several shows on a weekly basis, as I told you about several weeks ago. It works, Kevin. Thanks, Kevin.
So Kevin's one of the guys that we had more than one, but he must have been one of the ones that requested that we do one show per episode.
He was one, yes.
That's he was smart too.
Well, he got some medical training? Because I didn't know that lower leg pain.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, now I know if my leg starts hurting, I better get my heart checked out, apparently.
Yeah.
Huh.
I did read part of this, and it is. But thanks for the email. And he was one. And like we said, not complaining, but it has been a huge undertaking to get one episode per, but we did it, by God.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate the thanks from Kevin.
Yeah.
Now, the leg pain. When Kevin sent this email, it was prior to the season finale airing. And I'm going to be quite honest with you, because we talked about it.
Something.
I did too.
Okay, say what now?
Well, he sent this before the season finale.
Right.
And I emailed you guys. I really thought, because we talked a lot in the last episode, the podcast episode, we really dove into this leg pain, and I came up with some things like it's a brain tumor. You know, I threw myself out there like I usually do. Well, nobody's going to fire me for being wrong.
Yeah, you guys are throwing out thoughts of what is it? What does this mean?
Well, you know, and what he did, he made it very, very apparent to whoever's watching the show that something's going on with his leg. You know, it made it very, very apparent throughout the whole show. When they first came in, when Chips came in and met him there, and then later on in the show, you see him limping and stuff. So
I didn't read too much into it, because when he comes running out of the house and the Charger Challenger, whatever it is, that just about ran him over, that he carjacks, bumped him. So I just assumed it was from when he was running from the law. I didn't think it had anything to do with anything else.
Well,
but once I read that thing from Kevin, I went, ooh, does his heart go out in the end? Is that how Jax finally goes out with the heart issue? It was very good insight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
as it turned out, it didn't matter, because they never even looked at it that
didn't
again.
even hit on it again in the show at all.
Yeah, but I don't know that we talked about it last episode. It doesn't make sense. I was a little perturbed at that.
I almost wonder if he got up and his leg was asleep, or
no, dude. They specific that why would you film that?
And it was throughout the show. You saw there was specific scenes where he was limping on that.
Well,
leg.
maybe it's something that they record several takes.
This is what I'm
several
getting at.
hours, and perhaps it ended up on the cutting room floor. Maybe there was a plot there. Maybe there was something, but in the end, in the final cut, it didn't make it, and so we're just left wondering why the hell was he limping?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I say, and I think there's some truth to it. And so these show writers, there's multiple writers. Now, people don't think that these writers, it's some pre-written 7-season script. It's not like that. It was written episode to episode, although there's an overall idea.
Yeah, Kurt said he had a feeling of how it would end, but he didn't know how it was going to get there.
Right. And, so they're writing it episode to episode. Now, Kurt, when he came up to the wire on this, and the other writers on the show, they have several ideas in their head. Kurt didn't know how he was going to end it.
Now, didn't Kurt? I thought Kurt had this. This is like a book he wrote. I thought this was something he wrote already. No, it wasn't.
No, he wrote
so
this
he was doing
episode to episode.
Wow, that's fantastic. Wow.
He was usually about writing one episode ahead.
Wow.
Because I watched him on his YouTube channel and stuff. But no, that's how these shows go. And that's how The Shield was too. They're writing episode to episode. Then they got to get in the hands of the producers
that's pretty dang good to
Paris
be able
Barclay.
to do that. They're talented to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. And so my point on that is the reason that was in there, Chewy, is because they had multiple thoughts about how this was going to end. And they left that in there in case they needed to use it.
Sure.
Because I'm just telling you, I can't buy the fact that they would specifically film that scene. You're not going to waste time to film a scene that had nothing to do with nothing. I mean, it was just the most ridiculous thing in the world. So it didn't just accidentally ended up in there. It's because that was something that Kurt was leaving open for whatever was going through his mind and how he's going to end it. He just left it just in case he needed it, because he had not finished writing it. So that's my take on that, is that no, it was specifically filmed and it was a scene and it was supposed to be something, but in the end, he just fucked with us hard.
Yeah.
I agree, because he even said himself in the Anarchy afterword that he had a couple of ways he was going to end this, and ultimately he decided to do it the way he did. But I think you're right. He had to have a few avenues, and he decided which one to take. And in the end, the leg pain meant nothing, but it could have.
Right.
He decided to go a certain way, and that's the way he went.
And it was already filmed exactly, and so it's there, but it's not. In the end, a lot of people were a little bit pissed about it.
We'll get to it. It's just like the homeless lady.
Mm-hmm.
It means whatever you want it to mean, he said. I'm sure we're going to cover that.
We are.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the whole leg thing, and we spent a lot of time on it and this email, and I agree with you, Matt. When he sent that email, I was like, I started changing my mind. I go, oh, he's so right. So good prediction, man.
You're going to get into the predictions? I see you got them up there.
You like that?
Yeah. I'm curious, out of, we all made 5 predictions.
Why don't you read yours, Lurch, and then Chewy can read his.
I can't see that from here.
Oh, let me make it bigger.
You have to make it bigger.
If I had a nickel for it.
Make it bigger.
That's what she said.
Well, that's too big now.
Yeah, I would
there.
be rich if I had a nickel for every time I heard that. It's too big now.
So I said, oh, wow, I was wrong on that one. I said that Jax gets the club back into guns and chaos ensues. That's not terribly wrong. Is that wrong or right?
That's wrong.
Well, there's some chaos over the guns.
He passed the guns over to the mines.
I just like saying you're wrong.
So you'd say that's wrong.
They're not dealing guns anymore.
Okay.
They passed it over to the mines.
Not now. This is a season. This is not a prediction for the end.
Yes, it is.
This was a season prediction.
No, this was a
Final prediction?
Yeah, these were final predictions on how the show is going to end. Yes.
Well, whatever.
Well, you might be right on some others, but you can't be right on them all, so just accept it.
I said Juice dies at the hands of Jax. He literally didn't do it, but he ordered it. So what do I get on that one? Okay, all right. Now, I was really close on this one. I got a little detailed on it, but I said Jax kills Gemma with a suppressed 45 caliber with Grim Reaper on the handles, and then leaves the club and is
but
behind.
you get a clap for that because you said he kills her.
Oh, he's going to kill her.
That was just fun extra stuff. Good call, dude. I never would have predicted that.
Jax and Wendy reunite.
It's close. It's kind of ambiguous, but we'll give you one on that.
Oh, whatever, dude.
Reunited.
They did reunite. In fact, in Anarchy afterwards,
They
she said she
did.
was the last one to tap that ass.
She did.
She
That was
did.
awesome.
She's a little trashy. I like her.
Mhm.
Okay, and the last one, and I love this one. Tig and Venus hook up and live happily ever after.
Did they live happily ever after?
Dude,
'Cause
the last show that everybody else is at the clubhouse morning, and he's there between
she was
Venus's
rubbing
legs,
his head.
and he was laying his hand on her his head on her lap, and she was rubbing his hair.
It would have been better if they would have rode off into the sunset.
So I'm
Don't you
going to
agree?
say that I got 4 out of 5 on that one. I'm 80%.
I'll give you that.
Attaboy, Lurch.
Yeah,
Good
I
job.
think that the Jax and the guns one. I probably lost that one. I could make an argument, but I think I'd lose. The jury would not approve of that one. So 80% from this guy.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
Good job. Yep.
Thank
now,
you.
I would have appreciated it though if they would have. I think that's going to be the theme of this particular podcast show is anticlimactic.
Yes.
And it just the whole.
But the meaning, if you think about it, the way that Kurt wanted it to end, the way that Jax, the way he wants his kids to think of him, he wants his kids to think of him as a total dirtbag, piece of garbage.
Right.
So in ending it in that manner, a lot of people, and I'm not trying to offend anyone that has family that have committed suicide or anything like that, but when you think about people who commit suicide, it's kind of an easy way out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and he said in the show,
Yeah, go ahead.
he said in the show how he wants his kids to know he's a murderer. He's a criminal. He's not a good person. And he committed suicide. He didn't take the bullet. He went and killed himself.
Right. And I do want to get, I agree with you, buddy. And it just, the whole thing was anticlimactic. And I say that for a number of reasons that I think it could have been written better, but let's skip that for right now and bring that up a little bit later. Chewy, let's stick with predictions. Chewy,
Okay.
Here's your predictions. I'm on, if you guys want to look at what we're looking at here live, you can go to lawabidingbiker.com/SOA08. That was our season opener. And at the very bottom of that blog is all our predictions. So Chewy, go ahead and read yours.
All right. I said the unknown homeless lady is Jax's guardian angel. I still believe that.
Well,
That's
I'm going to say that you get one for that, dude, because that's completely correct. It very well may be.
He didn't come out and say, but in that scene where they had together, he's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "Well, it's time."
I would say that a guardian angel would keep you from dying.
That's true.
But
no, but a guardian angel will be with you even in your moment of death, and then
Fair enough.
right.
guide
You're
you
right.
into the
Yes,
into
you are.
Of course, yeah,
heaven.
look at you over there.
No,
yeah,
he's
oh,
right.
yeah.
No.
You're right, host. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. No, I agree. I think Chewy gets one for that one.
Oh, definitely one for you, Chewy. Go ahead with your next.
Next one is I said that Unser is killed.
Done deal. Go ahead with your next one.
And
Good job.
I said Gemma and Nero die at the hands of Jax. I was wrong on one of those.
All right, I give you 2 beeps for that. Go ahead, just because it's fun.
The fourth one is Jax gets out of the club and leaves with Wendy and the kids.
That would be negative. All right.
And then my last one is at the end, I said a scene is going to flash forward and Abel's going to be sitting at the head of the table.
And that's one of the
You
things
weren't too far off.
I know that's one of the things that I even though it's wrong, it in my mind, it could happen. You know what I mean?
Because you see him
spinning that ring
spinning
in the
the
car.
ring, and then he's got that look on his face.
Right.
Kind of an odd look.
And that's one of the things that kind of pissed me off about the writing in the end here is because they left a lot of things undone like that.
They were hurried. They had to
shouldn't
hurry.
have been.
Yeah, but they had to hurry through this last episode with everything that they had.
They could have made a 2-hour episode. Why didn't they make a 2-hour episode?
I agree.
That ending leaves it open, though. They could definitely do a post-quill or what do you call that? A follow-up with Abel at the table. Definitely, they left it there. There's room for that there to happen.
Yep, which would completely ruin everything that Jax tried to do.
Yeah.
Well, in all fairness, JT wanted it a different way, and it didn't go his way either. His son still became a turd that he didn't want him to become.
Yep, true. Maybe they'll make a movie.
It could happen.
That would be awesome. All right, so let me do my predictions. These were at the beginning of the season. I said Jax runs crazy and kills at the beginning of the season trying to avenge his wife's death. Realizes in the end the club is not for him and his boys and leaves the club and cut behind for good. Do I get a clap for that? Because he left it for good. I mean, I didn't say he died, but I just thought he would leave the cut in the club and get out of it.
You're about 80% there in that prediction. I think that's got enough that you got that one right.
Well, thank you. All right, Jax does. Yeah, I better get that real quick. Jax does not kill Gemma. All right, that's a big. We won't even read the rest of that. Juice gets killed for certain, and these are some of the reasons. He shot Sheriff Eli. He helped Gemma cover up the death of Tara. He spilled Jax's secrets, none other than Nero. That is a huge clap. The infamous homeless lady's true identity and character will be revealed.
I don't know.
That's a clap. I guess I don't know if her true identity was revealed. Yeah,
we'll give you credit for that.
That's a tough one. I agree. That could go either way. You give me credit for it?
I'll give you
No, it could go either way. Yeah.
Here I'm wrong. Tig will be killed. Completely wrong on that. So, all right, Matt's the winner.
Yeah.
Matt is
what do I
the
get?
winner.
What do I get? What do I get?
Well, I don't. You can sign up for the giveaway.
Oh, I'll do that.
We can play this song for you.
Here he goes. Yeah. Spit it out.
So, anyways,
I learned not to sing last time. You reused that.
Anything.
That was so awesome.
I love reusing that stuff, dude. All right, so
a hero.
there it goes. All right, so that was the predictions, guys. So that was fun. And that was very, very season opener. So to even guess that many right is
that was before the season opener, right?
I would dare say that between the three of us and those predictions, we nailed them all.
Right, we pretty much did. Absolutely, good call.
Although I think the only thing we missed is just how Jax went out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
But in all fairness, Chewy picked up on that when they started showing that bike and going back to JT's death place and the bike and shining the bike and him riding the bike. I mean, you got it. So we figured it out as time went on.
Yep.
Yeah. As much as he was working on that bike, that's what I figured he was going to ride off on.
What was that music for?
Just for fun.
Just for giggles?
Yeah. So let's get into this and then we'll talk about some of the anticlimactic type stuff. But we get an opening scene here. Let's just go through some of this and it'll raise some discussion. How are we doing in the chat room there?
Good. I'm
doing
just
good.
taking a look at it here. We've got Rick Kane making some comments, old Cowboy fan, and John Bisball, who, if you recognize that name. John's been around for a long time, since the beginning.
Long time listener, he said in the chat room. First time listener.
Exactly. Long time listener, first time commenter.
And first time live, he said.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So, all right, we got the opening scene here. You know, it shows Jax and all that. We know that. And, of course, this song is by Bruce Springsteen, none other than Bruce Springsteen back in 1978, Chewy.
Wow.
But it's a classic. It's a classic. You were born by then.
I was 1 year old.
Holy cow, you young.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right, and this shows Jax, getting that box. He's kind of just like what I said from the last, rolling off the heels of the last episode. He's just
Gathering
his
up
affairs,
his journals.
Right, his little miniature journals. Yep.
And I knew when he asked Gemma where that journal was, I knew what he wanted to get rid of it. He wanted that to know where it was so he could burn it, so no one has access to that, especially his children.
Now,
he doesn't want them going down the same path. He wants to recreate. He wants to end this thing. He wants no doubt about it. He doesn't want his kids to grow up and wonder. He wants them to know his dad's a turd. This is a bad life. Don't do it.
Yep.
Right. Did you guys notice in this opening scene, for the first time in 7 seasons, last episode he got blood on his beautiful white Adidas, and he had to chuck his beautiful white Adidas. Whose boots was he wearing? I think they're John Teller's.
They're his dad's.
How do you know?
Well,
because they looked old.
I'm talking to my daughter behind you, bro. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, I got you. They just looked old, and I was thinking he's gonna die in this episode. He knows he's gonna die. His dad died. He's gonna be on his dad's bike. He's gonna put his dad's boots on.
Yep.
Well,
Did you
when
think
you
that
go
too?
out,
And
I thought they were his old man's boots, and when
they
you
were
go out,
old.
you want to go out with your boots on, not your white,
And they were old.
blood-stained tinny runners.
Right.
And
Gemma's
when you
blood.
just throw bloody tenny shoes in your own garbage at your house, you're not too concerned about anybody finding them. I thought that was quite telling too. He didn't burn them.
Right.
He didn't throw them in a dumpster. He threw them in his own trash in his own house.
Yep.
And they're soaked in his mother's blood.
Yep.
That's very telling. He wasn't hiding it.
Didn't care.
Good call. Good call. All right. So we believe they're John Teller's boots. We end up at the storage unit. He's going through all these old boxes, right? At the storage
he's
unit.
going through all that.
All John
pictures
stuff,
and
the birth certificates, family documents.
Old photos.
Yeah, JT's book he wrote. Old photos, right? Now he ends up, and this is key, he ends up out at a burn barrel.
Yeah.
And he's burning all this stuff.
Yeah, he's back at Tiller Motors and he's burning everything.
Why?
He wants to erase history.
He doesn't want his kids to ever get a hold of that.
Very good. So he's burning everything.
He is setting them up the way he wants it to. He doesn't want them to go down the same path he did. And he's afraid that if he sees his journals and sees his dad's journal, that his child may go down the same path. He wants to make it clear. I want my kids to know I'm a criminal, that I'm a bad guy, that I'm a murderer, and I want them to despise me, and I don't want them to go down my path.
Right. Good call. And that's what I thought too, is just getting rid of history, and he's trying to erase history in this whole, right? I mean, that's what I got out of the whole ending of this is,
Yep.
We knew he was probably going to die, but he's basically trying to make it like it never existed to his boys.
Yep.
Just a complete erasure. Is that right?
Erasure.
Erasure of history.
Erasure.
But he visits old Ope's grave. Brought back a little there. I was brought it back a few seasons with old Ope's grave, and of course leaves his son's ring right on top of the grave. I knew that was another sign.
Yep. He's going.
He's going out. Visits old Tara Knowles' grave. Left
Yeah,
his
did you guys
wedding ring.
notice she didn't take his teller. She didn't take the teller name.
Yeah, you're right. It said Tara Knowles.
Knowles.
Well, they weren't married.
Yeah, they were.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, they were. I was
Chibs-
thinking they were just
Chibs
dating.
married him.
That's right. I forgot. That's right. Chibs married him. So yeah, that was kind of give way to the rest of the episode here. Do you want to go into that, Chewy?
The lab.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
SOA giveaway. It's the holiday season. Hey, we like to
give
right?
back. I did. I'm going to buy some stuff for somebody, man. I just feel like we're in the giving mood, and the community gives so much to us, and it's the last SOA. And seriously, man, I'm going to buy some gifts for guys, and I'm going to buy them for whoever wins because I want them shipped direct, and we need sizes.
Cool.
So
So what we're going to be giving away here, guys, is an SOA T-shirt.
custom SOA Sons of Anarchy T-shirt,
Bam.
straight from the Sons of Anarchy store.
Sweet. Then we're going to be giving away a lab T-shirt.
Custom law-abiding biker T-shirt. Chewy's wearing one. Just
That's
about
right.
got raped on the way here.
Yeah, I did. It was
Yep.
tough.
He goes down.
Tough.
He can't even go downtown with
Yeah.
it because, all the girls and all the bikers think he
rough.
is so cool.
Yeah, it's
Lurch,
rough.
have you been fondled yet because of wearing your shirt? It is a sight. I caution everybody.
I was fondled by the wife on the way out the door. And speaking of wives, one of our members' wives, quite the fan of the Law Abiding Biker podcast, and that is Oscar's wife. She said she's a bit of a geek about it, and she wants for Christmas
Two fat teeth.
No.
Oh.
Last time I saw her, she had her 2 front teeth.
All right.
She wants a T-shirt.
Oh, well, I've got one.
Yes. So
You
I
take
said,
one when you leave.
I said, I know a guy that knows a guy. And I said, Oscar needs to get a hold of Ryan and get one ordered up for her. So Oscar's lovely. Wants a shirt for Christmas.
Yeah, I got it. He already told me, so I got one.
Oh, did he?
Mhm.
Oh, smart. See, that guy's, he listens.
Yep, he got a hold of me. He got a hold of me like a couple weeks ago. But anyways, SOA T-shirt, a lab law-abiding biker T-shirt.
We're going to be giving away a coffee mug.
That's an SOA Coffee Mug.
SOA Coffee Mug and a beanie.
And an SOA beanie. So you get an SOA T-shirt, an SOA Coffee Mug, SOA beanie, and a law-abiding biker T-shirt, all boxed up, shipped directly to your home or wherever you want it shipped. That's right. All on us, guys, because we just really appreciate you, and we're getting close to the end of the year. And now there are some requirements to enter this contest, and I will have the page up soon. By the time you hear this podcast, I will have the page up. It's going to be lawabidingbiker.com/giveaway. Again, /giveaway. The requirements to be enter in the competition. Of course, it doesn't cost a dime to you guys. Here's what you got to do. And on that giveaway page, I'm going to have all these links if you want to just go to that giveaway page. But you need to get on our email list. So I'm going to look. You got to be signed up for an email list, lawabidingbiker.com/email club. You've got to be like our Facebook page. That's lawabidingbiker.com/Facebook. You've got to follow us on Twitter, lawabidingbiker.com/Twitter. And then last, you need to get on YouTube and you need to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's lawabidingbiker.com/YouTube. So Facebook, email list, Twitter, and subscribe on YouTube. That's all you have to do. It'd take you literally 2 minutes if you just go to lawabidingbiker.com/giveaway. And of course, it'll also be in today's show notes. As long as we'll look at that. And then so what we'll do is everybody that signs up for the email club from here on out, we will know starting when this podcast come out. And everybody that signs up there will be entered into the drawing. And then we will go check to make sure you're hooked up on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you're hooked up on the rest of those 3, well, by golly.
Miss Molly?
By golly, gee whiz.
Yeah. And then there's just one last requirement, guys, and that is you have to comment on this episode. And that's lawabidingbiker.com/SOA17, because a lot of you guys are already hooked up on the email club and all that kind of stuff. So the way we'll draw it, and I think I made a mistake there to make this clear, guys. You got to sign up on the email list. You got to sign up on the Facebook or like us on Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, sign up on our YouTube channel. Where we'll pull the names from is you commenting on our actual SOA episode on our blog page on the notes for today's show. That way we'll know all the names and there's a commenting system on the webpage. Lurch, you know about that. We moderate it. And and then we'll pull the names from there, and those names, whoever comments on this particular show notes, we'll go check, okay, are you on the email list? Are you on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube? Exactly. So that's the way to get in, guys. Again, an SOA shirt, coffee mug, beanie, and a lab T-shirt to your doorstep. Just comment. lawabidingbiker.com/SOA17. You can comment on anything that you want. It can just be real short, like I thought it was anticlimactic, or I wish Jax would have lived, or anything you want, your final thoughts on that page. And it does expire. We're going to go through, because this episode needs to get out in a couple more. It goes through the 31st of December at midnight. The offer will expire.
Oh, Merry Christmas.
Atta boy. And
from the law-abiding biker community.
We got a Santa Claus in the studio. Totally. So offers expires December 31st at midnight, and it will ship the first week of January. So yeah, guys, it's something we want to give back, and it'll be a cool little package, a little after Christmas gift for you, so to speak. All right, so get hooked up with that. So we roll into the Red Woody scene here. This was awesome, dude. Did you see when they're in Red Woody in that first scene? They're doing some kind of chunky porn, dude.
Man, that chick's ass was huge.
What
sitting on that dude's face,
dude. She just sat on it and started freaking
all kind of cottage cheese.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I like big butts, and I cannot lie. Your other brother can't deny.
Oh, I should have had that song.
Dude, it was more like.
When a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung. Want to pull out your tongue because you notice that butt was stuffed deep in the jeans she's wearing. I'm hooked and I cannot stop staring. Oh baby, I want to get with you and take your picture.
Lurch is on fire. I think it was more like this. Just on his
Yeah,
face.
that's
Just,
I like how she said, yeah, this is Big Butts 5. This has been selling like hotcakes.
that was so wrong, dude. Anyways, that was a nice little nasty scene there. And then, of course, let's get into this because it was one of our predictions and it did come true. And Jax meets with Grim Bastards President T.O. at Red Woody. They all go into the room, right, to vote whether he can patch over. And this was one of our predictions, but it really fizzled out for me. The reason it fizzled out is because they later vote to bring him into the club, but we don't get a purpose. I had said, my prediction was, well, he wants to leave the club strong. He wants
You're
to.
probably right.
But he's the only one that patched over.
That's the thing. He was the only one there, and he's the only one that patched over. That kind of ticks me off.
Well, they talked about bringing some other people with him, and I guess
they
we're just
didn't.
supposed. I know,
This
but
is the
we're probably
anticlimactic thing that I'm pissed about because they could have cleaned that up, Lurch.
once he's a full member, maybe he can sponsor some other guys and bring him over. But apparently,
What
they're
if?
just going to take him.
It-
Shoulda,
but-
woulda, coulda.
But it's anticlimactic. That's what I'm saying. All they would have had to do to write in there is have him go, okay, now that you're president, who are you bringing on? I'm going to bring
And what
these
the
four
hell
guys.
happened to Theo Huxtable? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, he's
I know.
gone.
I know. So I was disappointed.
Oh, did you see they're talking about bringing him over as what they're going to prospect, full patch, blah blah blah, and they all agreed, yeah, he deserves the top rocker. And then they give him his cut, and there's no
It
top
says
rocker,
prospect.
and there's a reaper in the middle that says prospect underneath. So the cut didn't even match what they said they were going to give him.
That was terrible filming
Yeah.
or terrible wardrobe. Because I saw that too, I go,
But in actuality, they had planned to make it. They had the cut made. They had planned to make it. That's what the club was going to do, make him a prospect. And then during the meeting, they started talking about it. So
Yeah, maybe.
in actuality, they already had it planned that he was a prospect.
I
listen,
get that.
So
The devil's in the details, and they missed this part. They missed it. And I would say that majority of the people didn't notice that, but the fact that we are in a motorcycle club, we noticed that.
yeah, I did.
It was an issue for me.
Yeah, I agree. It was weird, but I get that too. Chewy is, maybe they changed their mind, but whatever. I just was, again, Matt, the theme of the show is just, I was disappointed. That could have been written just a little bit better. It's just like, oh, okay, you're in the club. What the frick for? And
I hear where you're coming from, but in the end, it didn't mean a
it
whole lot.
does matter because
Doesn't matter to me.
I have a hole in my soul, Lurch.
It doesn't mean nothing to
Don't
me.
try to disregard the hole in my soul.
I disregard it.
Me and Chewy have a hole in our soul, and we needed more information than that. So I was pretty disgusted with that. Although Chewy, I was totally right on that bylaw, or you were.
Yeah.
Because you texted me and I brought it up last episode with Jake. The bylaw was, of course, they never came out and say that, but we know now.
Yes, that's what it was.
The bylaw was to allow African Americans in, and it was going to be a club to club, a charter to charter decision.
Yeah.
It wasn't club wide, but it was charter to charter, whether they were going to allow African Americans in their ranks, and that was going to cause some stir with the rest of the club. Correct? Yeah, I'll answer that because
Sorry.
they talked about that.
Sorry, I was looking at our live chat, which is it's something new for me to try to balance.
Try to
live chat
multitask. It's tough, isn't
and talk to you.
Notes and live chat and mics and mixers.
Law Dog's in the house.
Oh, welcome, Law Dog. That is LD. He's in the chat. So, again, just not exactly how I wanted to go, but whatever. Let's go to they all meet at the table. Oh, Sam Crow meets with Tyler, right? And this was weird too because we never got to the end of Tyler.
No,
but we'll get there. Let's go ahead and they're planning on taking down Marks, right? That was the whole key. Jax wanted to take down Marks and set up a meet with Connor, right? They were going to kind of use that as a ruse.
Yeah, they were going to. I was left with the impression they were going to take Connor out at the meeting.
Yeah, that's why they wanted to meet up with him.
That's what I mean, though. They were using Connor like, hey, meet with Connor, and he's got a lot of guns, and then they were going to be there, right?
Yeah, I thought they were going to. No, my thought was they're just going to take out Connor at the
That's
meeting.
what I thought.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, my bad.
That's
my bad.
That was my thought is, okay, they're going to meet at this, looked like they're at a baseball field or something, but they were going to meet up. Tyler was supposed to meet with them. They were going to hang down by the tracks, I think they said, or by something else.
Right.
Call us when he rolls in. I thought they were going to come in and take him out.
Yeah, right.
That's
Good
what I
call.
thought. That's what I thought. Too.
And of course, Connor comes rolling by. I wasn't expecting that. Were you?
No.
Ole, ole, ole. Hey, buddy, the dog's in the house.
Buddy's in the house. Hopefully, he doesn't bark this time. But anyways, they end up getting in the chase, right?
Yes.
The old Hollywood chase, dude.
Well, Connor shoots at him. Connor shoots at him.
Right, yeah. That's
And
what I
his
mean.
magic bullets sparked when they hit the pavement.
Yeah.
I know, dude.
And then he burns out in a 60-something GTO.
That was a sweet car.
Yeah. It was
those
a
are
sweet
cool.
car.
It's a late 60s GTO.
Of course, this was the song playing during the chase from old Leatherface. I Can't Help Falling in Love with You.
The remake.
Right.
It sounds like
Punk.
punkish, Irish kind of, like almost sounds like the shipping off to Boston guys.
Yeah,
The
right.
Dropkick
Yeah.
Murphys.
Yeah,
kinda.
Yeah.
Dropkicks.
Totally.
Pretty good.
But Jax ends up going down in the 2014 Street Glide Special.
He does.
Tears that thing up. Connor ends up getting away. Now, Connor and three guys, we end up with Jax. Remember this scene where Jax is on the roof
Yes.
and he calls Chibs,
Yeah.
right?
And then well, at that point, he tells Chibs of his plan of what he's going to do
Right.
and the reason why he
But
wants
he
to do
didn't.
it.
But they cut out and they didn't let us in on that, did they?
No, because they leave you kind of. Kurt wants to leave you kind of hanging about.
He likes to get you thinking one way and then take you another.
Right. And Chibs was pretty shook up about this deal. I mean, he did some good acting.
And see, on a mayhem vote, that's the club takes the guy out on that vote.
Right.
And
Right.
so
the charter.
That's
does.
why,
The charter.
and
does.
that's what goes back to Jax in this whole episode, getting his kids away from the club and everything about it, and making him out to be a piece of garbage criminal, is what he tells Chibs. Hey, you got to trust me with this and let me do this my way. That's why he wants to commit suicide, because Kurt Sutter's, I think his point there is to make it look like, well, he didn't get taken out by his club. He took the
right.
coward's way out and committed and killed himself.
Mm-hmm. Right. True.
So,
True. So they're sitting on the roof, and that scene they cut away, and we come back. We know he's told Chibs. We're all pretty sure that.
yeah, because
you know.
Tig comes up and Tig's like,
Oh, that's right.
Chibby, okay?
You know something tough was said because Chibs was having a hard time digesting it.
Right. Yeah. Totally. And especially at the very end. Right. Is that what you're talking about? Where
Yeah.
he's having real troubles.
Yeah, I'm talking about the scene on the roof.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know,
right.
They
Right.
cut
Right.
away, they cut back, and
Yeah.
something's wrong with him. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can tell that whatever Jax had laid on him was heavy.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
When he said, "This is, being a leader is doing the hard
Yeah.
things that you'd rather have somebody else do, but you do them yourself."
Yep.
Yep. Basically.
Yep.
Yeah. You're going to be a
That's how
leader now.
you want to earn respect. You do the hard things. You don't push them off.
Yep, get used to it, basically. Yeah, totally. And of course, Connor shows up to meet with him, right? And Sam Crow's walking. The two guys.
Yeah, they.
It was
I don't know who the three guys were that they brought up. They brought
one
these
was
guys.
beat up because he got beat up by O'Rourke. Remember last episode in Borowski's shop
Yes. Okay.
when Jax
Yes.
walked in?
Yes.
He was one of the beat up from O'Rourke, who's one of the kings of the Irish.
And two other Irish dudes. It
Right.
doesn't really matter.
Break this down, Chewy.
And he basically they're wanting to have a meet with Connor because, and they're making it sound like that the club's going to take Connor out. Well, this guy they're talking to, and I don't know the guy's name,
Hugh, I think.
and he's beat up. He's the guy that's beat up. He's like, no way is Connor going to come and show up. He knows it's going to be a setup. And that's when Jax, he looks at Chibs and Tig, and they shoot those two guys, and he's like, yeah, he's going to show up.
Yeah.
You're going to photograph those two guys right there, and he will show up. So
Absolutely. And that was a good way to get Connor to come,
yeah.
right? And so Connor shows up. Now he's been in this high-speed chase, got away, and he's in the warehouse waiting for him, this Hugh guy.
Yeah.
And
Connor
shows
gets
up.
out with a gun.
Right, yeah, he gets out and he's all worried, anybody else here, whatnot. And this is when Sam Crow walks in. Now, before we say anything, I have to ask your guys' opinion. When Sam Crow walked in on Connor, and they're walking in the warehouse, did you think in a million years that they weren't going to cap Connor?
No, I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
Nope.
Dude, that was a
Thought
spin.
he was dead.
Hey, before we move on, Law Dog says Buddy might be a reindeer
Oh my God, dude.
because he shook his head and his tags jingled.
Nice,
And John
dude.
Bisbal goes, "Ooh, that jingle was a dog."
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
We're ghetto here. We're
just a
ghetto.
little input from the live chatters there.
Exactly. I love
Yeah,
it.
I thought they were definitely going to put Connor down.
Mhm.
And never in a million years did I think they were going to set him up to run all the guns and run them. But they
That was just a spin they just wanted to do. That was just to screw with us, dude.
but they were trying to push the guns towards the
Mayans.
Thank you.
And uninvolve the Irish, the
Right.
Kings, get them out, right?
And this is how they did that, kind of. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So they apparently he can, as we go on and as the show ends, we can think in our minds of how it ended up. And, basically the way they wanted to end and Jax did is he's got pushing a lot of AKs and Glocks and he's not going through the Kings. And he's pushing them on the street and he's basically got to sever ties, Connor, with the Kings because he's dead if he goes back to Belfast, right?
Yep. He says, can't go back to Belfast. We're dead.
And that's when the Mayan, what's his name?
O'Rourke walks in.
The Mayans guys said, we'll
Alvarez.
Marcus Alvarez
says,
and the other dude is the president of the Stockton chapter.
He tells him, we'll protect you.
Yep. And O'Rourke walks in at this point. This is when we find out, okay, I thought O'Rourke was going to walk in and Connor's going to be dead, but it was the other way around.
Yeah.
Old O'Rourke gets it in the head and his two buffoons that were with him. Connor's is spared, of course. So
Buffoons.
Nice. You like that?
Nice usage of the English language there, sir.
Yep. Connor tells Jax, though, when he's leaving, this is an interesting little scene. Connor tells him as Jax is walking out, that, hey, you just killed an IRA member. There's no coming back from that, Jackie. No.
That's not bad.
All right.
It got better as the sentence went on.
There's no coming back from that. Jax turns around with that smile again. I talked about it last episode, this really peaceful smile of acceptance. And I could just tell that he was at peace, with himself.
At that point, you knew he was not planning on coming back. He's severing all the ties. He's cleaning up the loose ends. He's not worried about what he does because he knows what he's going to do in the end.
Exactly. Yep. And that's, he turns around.
And even at the end, it was hard to believe he did it, but
I know.
Yeah.
I know. He turns around at that point and tells Connor, my old man tried that to sever ties with the Irish 20 years ago. Better late than never. Yep. Connor just kind of looks at him like, all right, yeah, you're going to die probably. But Jax is like, yeah, I am going to die. So we already talked about them meeting on the roof. Anything else you guys want to talk about there? Anything significant about that?
No.
All right. So, DA Patterson and Sheriff Jerry. We haven't seen Sheriff Jerry in a couple episodes now. They've kind of kept her out of the loop.
And we haven't seen DA Patterson for a while either.
Right. Quite a few episodes.
Had to bring them both back at the last episode just to tie things up, though.
I agree. And that's exactly what these two did. And DA Patterson, of course, she's got a meeting with Jackson. We find out later they meet. We'll talk about that a little bit. But that was really the end of Sheriff Jerry. Besides, we'll talk about that. She cut her ties with Chibs. We do see some of that, but not a big ending role for Jerry because she was so involved this season.
We saw enough of her already, though, didn't we?
On the hood of a patrol car, bam. Just
Sherry Jerry's got a little something going on there.
I don't remember exactly what did Chibs say to her right at the end there. I had posted it too when he says something about the cops. They tend to go away when you
cops that land on the wrong side of us usually go away.
Yeah, why don't you guys just talk about that scene where they break up because now's a good time. So they meet and they're talking. Yeah, right.
She says, "Is that a threat?" And he said, "No, it's just history.
Yeah,
history proves that happens." And I was working last night till 3 a.m. and I was trying to avoid all social media. And I opened up Facebook and I know I shouldn't have. And I saw you put that quote on there. I went, "Oh crap! What happens now?" I thought maybe Sheriff Jerry got
it was
taken down at the end.
Open-ended. So
I said no. But I made a mandate as vice president of our chapter. I made a mandate: no social media, and you did it. You broke the rule, so you owe me 50 push-ups.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. So I was surprised that they ended their relationship. I know, but still, why the end of the episode that we all of a sudden know Sheriff Jerry is righteous now all of a sudden after she's been on the take? And was the key
Hollywood on the take?
Right, but what was the key to that scene? Because it was specific.
To me, the key is that those two worlds cannot mix. Mm-hmm. And even though a girl likes a little bit of a bad boy, it's not going to work in the end. And not only did she know it, but Chibs knew it as well. Yeah. And they had to go their own separate ways. If they're going to continue their lifestyles and go on their paths, they cannot be together.
Yeah. So you think that's why that scene was there, to give us that visual into the future that she's righteous now and she's going to do it the right way kind of deal?
Well, because Jack says in the end, the bad guys lose. He's clearing up all his ties to get the club out of criminal activity. She separates, when I say she, Sheriff Jerry separates from Chibs. These two worlds cannot mix, and in the end, that criminal life is a dead-end road. And I really think in the end that's what That's what I took away from it. But then
Okay.
I'm also a law enforcement officer, so I tend to
Right.
stay on the right side. But I think that even your average person would watch that and go, "Yep, that's the way it wrapped up, is living that life. It looks attractive, but it's a death sentence in the end."
Now, do you guys think D.A. Patterson kind of pushed her in that way too? Because they had a meeting. She met with Sheriff Jerry there before they met, and had a conversation.
Right.
about,
D.A. Patterson and Jerry met.
and,
Right.
and had a conversation about what you shouldn't do and how you shouldn't be close to the club, and she was kind of talking to her about that.
But then she said she liked her because she knows how to do that. She knew how to get close enough to the club,
And
but
I
not
think
too
that-
close. And,
and I think that's maybe what pushed Jerry. She's like, okay,
yeah.
I've got to end this.
Good point, Chewy. Good point. Right. And you put it together there. Very nice.
So
Put a bow on it. Awesome. And so Jax, of course, meets with Nero. And again, this is just all his preparation, but this is when Nero, we're not going to get deep into the scene, but Nero finds out Jax is going somewhere.
Yeah.
He's not sure where. Do you think Nero thought that he was going to die? Because he asked Jax, where are you going? Jax goes, I don't know. So I don't know if he was thinking, and he's telling him, hey, Wendy gets the houses, right? And she's going to Norco and she gets the houses and sell them, right? Remember all this?
Oh yeah.
And basically showing him where that big packet in the will was.
And I think at that point, Nero, he obviously knows something bad is going to happen because Jax has given the will, all these things up to Wendy.
Right.
A normal person's going to think, you're going to give up everything you have and just leave with nothing?
Right.
And
I just
that's
didn't know
when-
if he thought he was.
And that's when Nero goes, where are you going, Jax?
Away.
And he goes, away.
Did you see the sign that said Norco, by the way? People from California probably know this and would think we're retarded, but apparently Norco is a town or something.
I always thought it was Northern California. I didn't know, dude.
Yeah, which they say NorCal, so maybe it's
Right.
maybe there's a town
It's
or
an actual town?
must be. In this episode or this show, there is.
If anyone's listening from California,
is it North County? What's Norco stand for? Because that's not.
message us on chat.
That sounds like
let us
an
know.
abbreviation of some type of city or county.
There's the Norco website.
And it's a city.
It's a
isn't it?
city. Yeah.
So it's a city in
Okay.
Northern California.
City Norco, Horsetown, USA.
which makes
Horsetown, USA.
sense because he was going to go to the farm, to the ranch.
Yep.
Okay.
Visitor's guide and everything. History buffs.
I felt good because I finally found out what Norco was.
Yeah.
'Cause I thought I was retarded
Yeah.
there at the end.
Yep. The City of Norco's Historic Preservation Commission is seeking volunteers. There you go.
Oh,
Anybody
yeah.
else? Ooh, they have a
Norco
police
traffic
department.
enforcement implementation. Okay.
Oh, but they're sheriff's office. See that? So it's a smaller town because that's a sheriff's car.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, good call, Lurch. Good call. Now he's giving away his piece of Red Woody and Diosa to the club. That's what Jax wanted.
He wants to keep the club in funds to keep
yes.
running.
Well, he wanted to take Red Woody and Diosa, and they should use the profits to buy scoops, which is so take his half. His piece of Red Woody and Diosa, use the money to buy Scoops, which is their temporary clubhouse right now. And he wants them to make it home base. So basically saying, take that money and I want you to make Scoops,
The club, right?
the clubhouse, the new clubhouse.
Give him a home.
Yep. And of course, again, he showed him where he's leaving all the documents. So we know, obviously, from everything leading up here. But this is where Nero, I kind of want to get into that. He first finds out, Jax is crazy and he's on his way out.
And I think the more that you talk about it, I think Nero knew Jax was going to die based on his reaction, crying. And when he walks out, when the kids and Wendy
agree.
show up, he walks out, he's crying.
That was a tough scene.
And he throws his glasses on.
Yep.
That was a tough scene.
It was a tough scene, man.
Saying bye to his boys and
this
to
is
Wendy.
Yeah. And
Tells Wendy he loves her.
Yeah. And right before we get into that, because we're almost there,
Okay.
I wanted to say that this is where Nero finally finds out that Jax did kill Gemma.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Because he asked him, he goes, why are you crying? I know why you're crying. And Jax is like this, and he goes, it's Gemma, right? And Jax shakes his head.
Let me ask you both this. Do you think he was more upset about Gemma dying or knowing the path that Jax was taking? Is he more concerned about Gemma or Jax?
I think he's more concerned about the path that Jax is taking.
I agree.
Yeah, I do
and that
too.
he's not going to see his boys anymore. And however tough it is to break that lifestyle.
He actually loves Jax in the show. I mean, he loves
Who
him.
loves him?
Nero.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Nero,
you're right.
really- Nero cares about him.
Oh, yeah.
Nero's like
So does
kind of
Chibs
been
and
his
Tig and
kind of been his dad. Basically kind of been a father figure to him.
I
Correct.
agree.
So
I agree. And
Good question
he's
on
an
the
old
table.
school gangster.
OG.
She did wrong. She had to pay for it. He can understand that to some level, even though he loves her.
yeah,
But he knows the path of Jax and what Jax is about to do. And I think that hit his heartstrings a little bit.
yeah.
And I think that's
yeah.
I think that's why he knew Jax was going to kill himself
Yeah.
because he already told him that wound's too deep. And
Mano.
now he knows, Mano, now he knows that Jax killed him because Jax confirms it. So
Yeah.
Nero's going, there's only one way out of that, and that's you dying.
I wonder how
'Cause you
many
can't
people
live with that.
I wonder how many people thought that he was crying about her.
Yeah.
Versus, that's my opinion. He's crying about Jackson.
No, he's not crying about her.
Now, I will tell you, I'm no self-proclaimed tough guy. Everybody that listens and knows I don't, claim to be some tough guy. I will tell you that the scene Chewie's talking about was very, and I don't really get into that like TV, like my wife all the time cries and stuff. Now, I didn't cry, but I came damn close, dude.
Well, because
it tore me up when he was saying goodbye to his
but
boys,
you know
dude.
why it is? Because you know,
I will admit it.
you can, and I felt the same way because I have children.
It was as close as you get to tears without me crying.
I
dude.
have children, and that did get me because there he is and his boy, and I have a son, and his boy runs up and hugs him. I love you, Dad, and knowing what and knowing what Jackson, it's
his last time seeing him.
When you have kids and you can kind of relate to that a little bit,
That makes
Totally.
sense. I couldn't relate to it because
it's
I don't
tough.
have kids.
Well,
I
Angie
guess
still texted me and she
I
said you were
can-
bawling like a baby.
I can
Sucking your
relate
thumb.
to it, but I don't have children. So while I found it somber and sad, it didn't tear at my heartstrings. But I could see as a father,
Yeah.
I could see as a father it would.
Well, even what was it? 2 episodes ago when or 2 or 3 when the little Abel was in the bathroom and was cutting himself. That really got to me too.
Yeah,
Because,
right.
I mean, we having kids and seeing that it does something to you.
It did. That was probably the one time in 7 seasons I actually got a little bit like, whoa, that kind of hits home,
Yeah.
Tough deal. Now, Jax did tell Nero too before they went to hug his boys goodbye that he basically told Nero, basically set Nero and Wendy up, right? And he tells Nero, hey, no matter what, my boys don't ever come back to Charming.
Yeah.
They can go to the East Coast. Wendy's got family over there. They can go to Norco. Whatever they do, they don't frickin' come back to Charming.
Yeah.
And at some point, when the time comes, he made it very clear, Jax did to Wendy or to Nero to tell Wendy, hey, tell the boys everything about me as a criminal, as a thief, as a killer. I want them to hate me. I want them to hate everything about me so they never get the lifestyle.
Yeah, he tells Nero to tell Wendy to make sure, and he says, tell those boys what type of person I was.
Yep.
Do you think Nero tapped that ass?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
dude.
so he's almost giving him permission, isn't he?
I know.
He's like, take care of my boys.
Would you?
Take care of Wendy. Well, yeah.
Gemma's gone.
every day and twice on Sunday.
And Wendy's way better looking than Gemma.
yeah.
And he's going to Norco with a couple boys, dude. I'd be all.
Nero just traded up.
And Jax too kind of leaves it with Abel.
Mm-hmm. Does that distract you?
No.
He tells Abel too, hey, Nero is Daddy's, I think he says, best friend. You listen to what he says. What he says, you listen to that. So he kind of he's laying the ground of, hey, this Nero's going to be the father figure for these boys.
Yeah, right. Did you, not to get off that point, but I had a thought. Now, they went in this bike that Jax ends up taking because this is where he rides away on the bike for the first time, right? After he hugs the boys goodbye.
Yes.
Yes,
leaves
you're
on the
right.
old
You're right
panhead.
because what's the guy's name?
Chucky.
Chucky tells him, "Hey, I got the plates for that.
Thank
for
you.
your dad's bike."
How retarded is that? Why did you get frickin' plates and go through all the problem of registering this bike, dude, when you're going to go die on it?
Yeah.
An even better question, why did the guy with no fingers put the plates on? I'm sure he couldn't work the screwdriver very well.
Just nothing but nubs trying to do us.
You might as well just
Chuck
take he could have just took some tape and taped it on.
And Chucky's the only one left there at the shop.
But did you see what he told him? He says, take care, Chucky.
Yes.
And that's all he said. And Chucky's got a look in his eyes like he knows.
The chat room's all worked up about Wendy.
What are they saying about her?
Wendy. Yes, Wendy is smoking hot.
Here's something for the chat room. A little something for everybody.
Hey, did you boys like that picture of Wendy I sent out on GroupMe earlier today?
Oh yeah, and that cop outfit.
That's a picture from Sopranos. Yeah, I zoomed in on her and cut old Chrissy out of it. But
yeah, Adriana.
Somebody's gonna have to hit that link that John Bisbal just put in the live chat. He says, "Oh my God, Wendy is hot," and there's a link and says, "Body yes, but she has a butterface."
I can't see the link.
John thinks she's a bit of a butterface.
Yeah, a butterface.
She's on the verge of butterface.
When she's dressed up
in
fine,
that
she's
show
okay.
they did. In that show they did.
Yeah, you look at some of her younger stuff, she looks a little better. She's starting to show her age a little bit, but she's still got a smoking body. I don't know if she's quite butterface material, but she's kind of working her way that direction.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, let's move on to where Jax. This is a big scene where Jax sits down with D.A. Patterson. Pretty much, she ends up recording it, right?
Well, he asks her.
That's
her
right.
On her, she does it on her phone.
She busts out her iPhone and records it.
That was a good iPhone commercial.
Yeah.
Straight up, dude. She ends up recording it, and Jax will just rip through this, but tells her, hey, Gemma's the one that killed Tara, why she did it, the story her and Juice made up about the Chinese, that Juice killed Sheriff Eli Roosevelt to protect Gemma. And she asked, how do you know this? And of course he tells her that it was admitted. It was admitted by Juice and Gemma. So of course she wants to know, what's the first thing she wants to know? Where's Gemma? Because she's thinking, no, that's not good.
She's with Unser in Oregon.
Which is true.
And he gives her the address.
And I give him credit for being British, not saying Oregon.
Oregon, yeah, no doubt, dude.
He said Oregon.
Yeah. And so he does, Chewy, give him the address.
Piece of paper. He pulls a piece of paper out.
And then, it wasn't long after that the crime scene, we see a scene, of the crime scene investigators there. It wasn't very long that they found the bodies. And of course, with that comes the whole reason that they wanted Jax, right? At the end, the APB, because
they put an APB on.
That's how, if some people were emailing and they were like, well, how'd they fit? Well, the reason they figured that out is because he gave the address of where they were to D.A. Patterson. And so she put two and two together.
And D.A. Patterson, at the end of the show, her last scene that they show her, she's figured it out. Did you see the expression based on her face?
Oh, right. Yeah.
She figured it out. Jax is going to die.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally. What about Henry Lynn and all the other bodies that dropped? She wants to know. And that's when he says, turn it off the record.
Yeah,
because this is how it really works in the real world, right, guys? You just go on and off the record.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry about it. We'll just turn the record, and then the court's like, "Why did you stop that recorder?" And you just get eaten alive in court. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Had to take a potty break. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, he wanted to go off the record.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Gemma and Juice, he tells him, came up with that story, and he specifically says, "I'm not going to incriminate myself with any retaliation type nonsense." He does tell her, by the end of the day, have no fear. The violence in Stockton and Oakland will be over. And then he thanks her for being fair with him.
And for trying to help Tara.
Yeah, exactly. Because she always was trying to help Tara. Yeah, exactly. Even though they butted heads a lot, it was kind of his, before he's going out, making up a little bit,
Because he did love Tara. He really did.
What happens at the end of the day, Chewy? That's what she asks him.
The bad guys lose.
Oh, which is just open-ended.
Which means him.
Marks.
Which means Marks. Which means Borowski.
Yeah. So here's where it all goes down.
There's a bunch of other bad guys that didn't lose, though.
I agree. That's a good point.
The worst of the worst died.
In their little world.
Right.
And what they believe are bad guys.
Yeah.
Because technically their whole club is bad guys.
Oh, yeah. All the clubs and all the gangsters and everybody.
I guess it's all relative to what they think. Sam Crow, of course, this is the scene we were talking about a little bit before. And Chibbs had got with Tig earlier in the episode, remember? And he basically told him what Jax told him on the rooftop. You got to vote, and he let Chibbs in, or Tig in on it, and this is where they vote, man.
Yeah, that was a rough scene too.
It was, because Chibbs had the hardest time with it.
I read an article that somebody wrote. It was from a newspaper or one of these magazines. They wrote about this, and that actual scene took a very long time. They filmed it, and the reaction you guys were seeing on television was the actual reaction that they were doing. It wasn't Sutter didn't say, "We want you to get emotional here." He just let them roll with it. And that's what you saw was actually how their reaction was.
Right. So they just basically filmed them being real.
Yeah. So, so when Chibbs was talking and he was emotional, that was not, they didn't tell him, you need to be emotional here. No, that he played that out, him doing that.
And a lot of that probably stems from they've been together 7 seasons and they aren't going to see each other every day anymore. And it was a show and it's the end. And that's awesome. Awesome insight though.
Yeah, they're friends. I mean, right. It's like you're still going to be friends, but you're not going to be seeing each other as much as they have been.
I would cry right now if this was my last podcast with you, but it's not.
Yeah, no. Let's not do that.
But I would
Please,
cry.
Let's keep it going.
Yeah, we are. We ain't going out like that, Chewy.
No
We're
way.
on fire.
The lab bike, the tank is full of gas.
It's getting there.
The oil's
Yeah,
full.
but-
The oil's been changed. In fact, it's got AMS oil in it.
Wow.
It's got NGK uridium or whatever the hell those plugs
You
were that
listen.
Oscar put into his bike. We got fresh tires. We're ready to roll, man. This thing is
Wow.
just getting wound up.
Dude, I love it. Love it.
In fact, I just popped the clutch. We're doing a wheelie. Hold on.
Yeah, and we're not going to leave you. We're not going to leave you for like 10 months at a time. And yeah, we're here for you guys. We're here. We're not going to screw you like that. So, all right. So Sam Crow, that was a tough scene. Now is when we get into the end scenes, and then we're going to wrap it up here. But this is where Jax kind of goes on his killing spree. And here's where I'm going to start getting on my
everything-
anticlimactic tangent, dude.
My thought, they were hurried.
They don't need to be, though.
I know.
They
but
don't
it's
need to be.
Based off of what I saw in the show, they hurried through it. I mean, I agree. They, there was no meeting with Borowski to talk with him to get him to admit that he actually did this, that he actually gave up the guns, They gave up that he told them where the guns were.
Right.
Told the,
But here, let's just get into and Lurch, you two. This is just too easy. It was so non Sons of Anarchy 7 season style writing. And here's what I'll say. Writing 7 seasons of that at 13 episodes a season, I liked every single one. So I want to give him credit. It was phenomenal
he's
writing.
a fantastic writer.
But I'm gonna tell you, dude, this was really poor. And I don't know one person, and even in the chat room right now, the live chat room, I just chatted. I don't know if you've been in there, but I was saying, nobody likes this ending. It's not. It's a hole in my soul. It's not fulfilling, and it could have been done so many different ways. So I'm giving him credit for writing 7 seasons of great stuff, but I'm the first one to tell you that was a shitty deal. And I don't think anybody really left like that was a great season finale. It was only 1 hour. It wasn't 2. It was hurried. And
Well, it was a
didn't
little
need
over
to
an
be-
hour,
Well,
wasn't it?
not
Little
with commercials,
bit.
dude. It's like 40 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it just
Let me ask you
it
this.
lacked storyline, and there just could have been so much more done. I just feel like it was almost more juvenile writing than it has been the whole. And I don't know if it's because they just were giving up on it. It just
Here's
was.
what I'm going to say about it.
I got a
First
bad
of
taste
all,
in my mouth.
This is a series that you're very invested in, that you enjoy, and you want all the outcomes to work out. You want to know where everything's happening, where everything's going. But if I look back at the series that I've watched, I've never been satisfied on how they end. There's no way that you would have been satisfied.
Are you sure? I was satisfied with the other ones.
No,
I
no matter
was.
what he would have wrote, it wouldn't have been satisfying enough.
No, I disagree.
No,
I know where you're coming from, but not for me.
No,
It would have been if he would have just wrote in a 2-hour episode and give us just a little bit more information. I know there's going to be a lot of.
they have to leave some stuff for
Well, they're
the
always going to.
imagination. Some things that you got to think of. What happened to Wendy? What happened to Nero?
But they're going to do that even with a 2-hour episode. I'm just saying they could have wrapped up a few. You're not going to wrap up everything, but I just think that it was really rushed. He just walks up and kills Marks. That's done. Okay, you've spent a whole 2 seasons between him and Marks, and it was just so anticlimactic, and it was so easy, and it was almost like you said they're just rushing through crap to finish it. And I didn't like the taste in my mouth at all.
What I'm getting from it is I think that Sutter is kind of wanting to end this because he's got another project that he's doing.
That's what I'm saying. There's more to this, man.
I think he's really
That's just our opinions. And
He's got another wave of thinking and thought about his writing that he's doing for this new show. And so I think that he was like, well,
just wrap it up.
I got to get this wrapped up so that I can.
And maybe he should have took care of a little more last episode. But this is stuff that happens. This isn't a science. I mean, and I'm not a writer. I'm just saying. So 99.999% of the episodes, I'm just saying me personally, and most, not most, but I'll say all the fans that have contacted me on our Twitter page, our Facebook, via email, I haven't had one person go, it was an awesome ending. Everybody's just kind of like, that was really just quick and dirty and just didn't make a lot of sense.
And that's how things happen.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it left a dirty taste,
Sure,
though.
I understand.
I know what you're saying.
I just can't imagine him taking one episode to kill each person. I mean, this was an episode of wrapping things up. He was going around. He was making everything final. And could some more time have been spent with it? Sure. But in the end, it wrapped up what needed to be wrapped
Right.
up.
I guess at
in
the end
my
of the day
opinion.
is how you felt, how
I
each
felt
person
fine.
felt.
I
right.
felt fine with it. It was over.
And me and Chewy and Jake and right and that's the opinions, and that's awesome. That's what the show brings to the table.
I'm ready for another series that has Wendy in it.
We all were just like disgusted that it ended that way. Yeah, we need more Wendy. But anyways, and I think that's just some of the frustrations out there. So we wanted to bring it up, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But the homeless lady, we saw her in the last episode. And here's a nice little, let's listen in on what Kurt Sutter has to say about that, because everybody wants to know.
Yeah, I listened to this.
Who is the homeless lady? Well, here you go.
The story behind the homeless lady is whatever you want it to be. I feel like we've set the stage for it. I think the reveals at the end have the little bit of the magical quality that I wanted. The dynamic between the two of you there at the end was so like, okay, now tell me, what is this all about? You know what I mean? And Jax understood, and that's all that really matters. But I want people to have some sense of walking away from that, and rather than hammer out the arc of what that is or whatever mystical explanation I could offer. I love the idea that people have varying opinions of who she is and what she represents and why she's in so many key places throughout the series, and in a world that's so black and white, to have some energy that feels a little bit magical without being goofy or special effects, I think is sort of a tip to some of the Shakespearean qualities, as well as allowing people to talk and think about it a little bit.
I think it worked really well. I always loved the homeless lady.
They just kind of brought her along for the whole 7 seasons, and that's how she ended up, which
Bull
is
crap.
Rick Kane's got a
in the chat room. Go
screw
ahead.
Rick Kane.
Oh, geez.
We pretty much said who that person was. That's the mother of the girl that was dating Rat. She's the gal that
Right, she
died.
is.
John Tellers.
She
There's
is.
no doubt about it.
Yep.
I don't know what he's talking about. And by the way, could he rub his hands together a little bit more and bang his freaking jewelry off the table? Good Lord.
There's from an audio guy. I
So
love
annoying listening to
I do too.
Yeah, he's going like this.
Yep.
Well, you
Rubbing
can't
his
even hear
hands.
that. Oh, he must have the driest hands in the world. But
No, it's because they have a boom mic over, and it's super, super sensitive.
God, and his things is
Oh, he had a lavalier. That's why.
is that what it was?
He had a lavalier mic on. Yeah, and he's always doing that.
And yeah, he's making noise on that stupid table.
I hear
All
it
right,
too. I love it because I was
All
listening to the
right.
show with my headphones too, and I was like, "Oh, that's terrible audio, man."
What a jerk. Anyways, I was just kidding, Rick Kane. Go ahead, tell us what Rick
He
Kane has to
says,
say.
Rick says,
Happy
time-
birthday, Rick! It's tomorrow.
"Hey,
Rick's
happy birthday,
is tomorrow.
Rick." Every time somebody says something, I lose it because it's back up here.
All right. Well, while you're looking that up, so the homeless lady that it is, whoever you guys want it to be in, Chewy and us said
I got it
is her
here.
guardian angel. And we do believe that to be true, because when Jax dies, you'll see the crows. One thing I want to mention, Chewy, before you say that is, did you guys notice, this is key, guys, because we're going to bring this up at the very end when Jax dies. Did you see the camera focus in after she got up, gives him a blanket, then he walks off. The camera specifically focuses in on a beverage, a half-drank beverage in a bottle, and some kind of white cake-like
it's bread.
substance.
It looked like cake or bread.
It's bread. It's wine and
What was at
bread.
the very end after Jax died?
It was
It's-
wine.
The same. It was bread, though. The same
bread was
piece
there.
of bread.
Right.
But if you'll remember,
And so she was the raven. She was in a raven's form.
well,
and she came back and met him there at his time of death. The bread was there. Go ahead.
what Sutter is trying to
You don't know. Did you call him?
He told you it means
you
whatever
call
you
him?
want it to mean.
what Christian people believe
Is he on chat? I'm sorry.
No.
Just
I'm pretty
teasing
sure
it. I'm just
Christianity
teasing.
had
What's,
nothing to
what
do
do
with the
Chewy's
show.
getting pissed. He's like, come
what,
on.
But what do you think he's trying to portray here?
The bread is the
Okay.
body.
The bread is the body.
The wine is the blood.
The wine is the
And
blood.
we saw that. Good point,
So-
dude.
So
Yes, he
Jax-
strikes me as a good Catholic young man.
So Jax,
Well, Gemma was.
Was she? She was, wasn't she? She's
but
raised.
what he's portraying is
she was raised
Jax
in church.
is Christ, and he's saving
No.
everyone.
No, you're off
his-
track.
No, listen.
Listen to him.
He's saving his club. He's sacrificing his body and killing himself to cover the sins of his club so that his club is now forgiven.
Dude, he's got something
And that's
there.
why they showed. And I went and did this because I thought the first episode, there was something with the crow in the very first episode that was ever the pilot. I went and watched the very first scene of it. That crow in the opening scene, there's a crow and they're on that road. Jax is driving his motorcycle on that road. And
come on, Chewie.
The crow.
Put your hands in the air.
There's a crow on the road eating bread there. So it's symbolic. And this is what he's trying to symbolize. When I saw
That's awesome,
when I
dude.
saw that.
Yeah, the crow has a very strong presence in the spiritual world of the Native Americans. I don't know about.
But when I saw the bread and the wine, I said
twisted.
When I
Yeah.
saw the bread and the wine, I'm like, okay, what is going on here? And then when he
Did she have wine? Was that what was in that bottle?
Yes, it was.
Oh.
It was. That was a little bottle.
Chewy, you're amazing,
So
dude.
and then I saw the
You've never
yin.
had a little bit of Ernest Gallo in a little airplane bottle? That's what that was.
Was it?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
And so that's Kurt
Okay.
Sutter's trying to portray that he's the savior
Okay.
for his club.
I will agree with that.
Wow, dude.
You threw me when you said he was Jesus Christ, but I'll tell you, he was the savior of the club.
That's what Kurt's trying to portray with
Okay.
this because
I am back in.
In Christian,
Wow.
when you take communion, you the bread is my body that was broken for you. The blood, that wine is the blood that was shed for your sins.
Yes.
So that's
although only Catholics and Lutheran actually drink wine. In other churches, you drink grape juice.
We drink
Boo.
grape juice.
Yeah,
Grape
we
juice.
do too.
Grape juice.
But not those rebel Catholics, the
Old
Lutherans.
school, man. We drink
Lurch is,
Manischewitz wine.
Lurch is over there grabbing the bottle. They're trying to get it from him.
The Lutherans, they actually take their own flask.
They have juice for people that don't drink alcohol anymore.
Oh, do they? Wow,
Yeah,
it's
they
all
do have
politically
juice.
correct now?
It's still blessed, just like the wine, but yeah, they do have a little bit of juice there for people that can't take wine.
Oh, dude, that is funny, man.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to in my
Chewy
word.
To
That's what
sum it
trying
up,
to
he's the savior of the club.
He's the savior.
I'll buy that.
That's why he's
Wow.
I'm back in.
Yeah.
You lost me for a second. I'm back in.
that's awesome, really, because you had not revealed that, which is why I like doing it on the podcast.
Oh, Chewy, man.
I
He's got
saw the
some
bread.
insight.
I didn't know it was wine, but at the end when he died, I saw something that looked like wine dripping towards the bread, and I'm thinking bread.
it was
and I'm
blood.
thinking the raven, and I'm a guardian
It was
angel.
blood.
That's awesome, dude.
That was his blood dripping
So
towards
he
the
was
bread.
the savior for his
club.
his club and his
He
kids.
was like a mini
and
Jesus.
His kid.
Now-
That's what I was trying to say.
He's like
Well,
a mini
you-
Jesus.
That's what they were trying to portray.
Like I said, you threw me off when you said Jesus because he's the farthest
That's
thing
what
from it.
Kurt was trying to portray. That Christ, how Christ died to
right, because he's twisted anyways.
save us of our sins, and this is what Jax is doing. He died to save his club and his boys and the family
And the guardian angel, Raven, was there to take him home.
Yep. And she told him
He's probably
it's
going
time
straight to hell.
Oh, yeah.
The Raven is probably went like this. The Raven flew up and then did a nosedive straight down to hell.
Jax makes the devil look like a pussy.
unless he asks God for forgiveness right then and there. But
No, let's not go too far.
Dude, tell you what, I'm pretty sure that Raven took a dive straight nose first towards hell.
But I think you're definitely nailing what Kurt had intended there.
I think
Yeah.
that was because when I first saw
sold
the
me,
bread,
son.
when I first saw the bread and the wine, I thought, okay, what is going on here? And then at the very last scene, when they did that, I go, okay, I got it. That's what it means.
Hey, Jake, by the way, we don't drink out of the same cup. We got little shooters.
No.
In the Lutheran church, we have little shot glasses.
Little shot glasses. Oh,
Yeah,
you
they do have the common cup, but I don't.
I thought you guys just passed around the bottle.
No, I don't partake from the common cup because too many people are putting their lips on that and they got colds, and some of them are older and dirt.
And then they just wipe it with a little cloth.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me. I take the little shot glass.
Yeah, like a little cloth where somebody's
a little
lips
mini
is bent.
shot glass.
That's not gonna. Don't you love how they do that? They take the glass and they take a little cloth and they just wipe where the person's lip was. If that guy's got a cold, telling you that you need hot water and detergent
I'm
to
sorry,
kill
no.
those germs.
Never.
Give me my little single cup, and I'll drink from that. I'm not going to drink out of.
You get
guys
herpes
got,
that way.
got shot glasses too? That's
No.
the only way to do it.
It's
We do
great.
it.
We have little.
It's grape
We have
juice.
little grape juice.
Whatever. In a
Yeah,
shot
yeah,
glass?
the little glasses. Yeah,
Yeah. It looks like a mini shot glass.
Yeah.
it does.
Lurch takes it home. He's got a whole cabinet full of them.
Oh yeah, you can rinse those out and save them. But you have to have like 6 of them to equal one shot, so they're kind of
Right.
anti-productive.
Lurch is like, God, good thing it's Saturday night tonight. I'll finish tonight with a shot glass. All right, so that's the homeless lady, guys. It's a little bit unfulfilling. Actually, I was okay with that.
And what's funny is
I was okay with how that
I
ended.
felt that she was who nailed her for the whole time that she's a dead woman and she's there to take him on his journey. Because she was there when JT's journey ended, so she's there to take Jackson on his.
That's what Rick was saying. He said that she looks like the person that was on the bike with JT when JT died.
No, she died. She was the mother of the young gal, and she died in that
in the
accident.
wreck.
Yes,
she was the car that hit JT.
Car. Yes, she was the car. She's the one that died.
Oh, let's just tie it up here and let's talk about this final scene and the whole Jack's going out, dude.
Can we talk real quick about when he kills? He uses she gives him the homeless lady gives him the
blanket.
And says, it's time, and he sitting there on the. He looks like the Reaper.
He did the way they had that.
Oh, damn!
Oh yeah,
look at Chewie, dude.
Yeah.
The way they had that blanket draped over him, he looked like he looked like the Reaper
right there.
The way the hood was set up over everything, yeah. I got that too.
And so to put it, and I think the audience knows, but when he's sitting on the courthouse steps, when Mark's is coming out, he's sitting with that blanket that the homeless lady gave him.
He has become the Grim Reaper.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, dude. That is intense.
This is an awesome song. I really like this song.
So yeah, I just was thinking guy with a blanket, but you're right. Now that I visualize it,
Yeah, you go
back
back and look at it. He looks just like a Grim Reaper.
You just watched it. You can see it in your mind. Doesn't it look like it?
It does. Totally. How symbolic.
Yep.
The little symbolism there that I didn't get. And I saw the bread and all that, like Chewie said, but I didn't make the Christian connection or the whatever twisted, he's a savior type deal, because they do a lot of that type in his writing. So very, very good insight. So here we go. Jack's right coming out of the courthouse, ends up shooting. Then he end up at Borowski's again. Anticlimactic. Mm-hmm. Go ahead with that.
I think
it in your head. What's
he
going on here?
He went to Borowski's first and shot Borowski in the head. And there's people in there, and they
and then Jax ends up, or Sheriff Jerry and D.A. Patterson end up there right
now. And that's when D.A. Patterson, they had gone out. They'd been out to the crime scene where Gemma and Unser were. They come here to where Borowski is, and Sheriff Jerry's back behind the counter looking at the dead body, and she looks at D.A. Patterson. D.A. Patterson looks, and she turns away and comes back, and you can see it on her face that she's like, Jax is...
It's done.
He's done.
It is done.
It's done.
You know who sings this song?
White Buffalo.
I like it. Good song.
It's actually Come Join the Murder. It's White Buffalo and Forest Rangers.
Good song.
Who Forest Rangers did a lot of work for Sons of Anarchy. And if you guys want to get this song or any of the songs in Sons of Anarchy that we like, just hit up the blog, lawabidingbiker.com/SOA17. I've got all the affiliate links to take you straight to iTunes. But, all right. So, he's cutting off the president. Very symbolic. A lot of stuff going on here. It was very sad because with this song and everything that was going on, I knew.
Pulls up on his dad's bike. And walks in and...
Pulls up on the bike. Properly licensed, though.
Properly licensed, of course.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to break any laws on this TV show.
No, you wouldn't, especially when you're going to die and commit suicide. You would want to make sure you have a proper registration, especially if you're going to run from the police. Because it's one thing to elude, but then to get a ticket for improper registration, that would be horrible.
That's just,
we're being a little facetious here.
The end.
But yeah, we see, and then the VP patch, right? We find out that Tig, in the future, he ends up being the VP, right?
And
good choice.
Yep, Jack says good choice.
Hey, the live audience says they can't hear the music you're playing.
At all?
Yeah. It's kind of weird, but we'll figure that out some other time.
I can't hear the music.
Yeah.
Don't know. Here we go. This is the last scenes, and then we're going to get into a little bit of predictions of how we think things ended up. But of course, the song playing is that of the White Buffalo and Forest Rangers. Come Join the Murder. Awesome little song.
Yeah, it is.
Now, we see him cutting the president's patch off, right?
He comes in, parks his bike out front, comes into the warehouse there, and takes his coat, takes his cut off, takes a knife out, and cuts his president patch off. Walks over to Chibs, hands it to Chibs.
And
Chibs, they cut off. Did they cut Chibs' vice president?
They did the VP first. He went over and cut off.
Right.
Chib's VP patch. He handed it to Tig.
And Jack says, "Hey, good choice.
Nice choice."
So then he says his goodbyes, hugs him, and they kind of walk him over, and I'm thinking Jake was with me watching this, and he's like, they're going to kill him. I was like, there is no way they're going to kill him.
I wasn't 100% sure one way or the other.
Yeah,
no,
but
I was like, there is no way they're killing him.
now what's interesting about this scene is that was so set up. They needed to shoot Happy's arm, right?
Yes.
Because they wanted to shoot Happy's arm. Okay, you don't need Tig with one arm on Jax's shoulder facing Chibs and then Happy on his other shoulder holding him. Also, you can walk straight up to Jax and then shoot Happy in the arm.
They did it so that
I know,
we as an
it was
audience
almost
would go.
corny, though.
It was a little corny.
It was so
Yeah.
corny. I have to admit, that was corny.
It was a lot corny.
Because I'm just like, I know he's not going to shoot him, and then really, you had to do that. And why'd they shoot Happy in the arm? Do you guys know?
As an alibi to say that Jax got some rounds off and escaped.
Bam.
Escaped his mayhem.
And
Escaped his mayhem.
And if you'll notice, Jax laid his gun down, so the gun that Tig grabbed was Jax's gun that he carried.
Yes, because the other clubs will do bullet analysis to find out that the gun that shot Happy was Jax's. That's retarded.
Well, no, because Jax had the gun when he died.
You know what I'm saying, though? Who's going to do the bullet analysis?
Oh, right,
This is ridiculous.
Right. You're right.
You've got to use the same gun. Psh, they wouldn't know.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. But that whole scene was a little corny to me. All right, that all set up for obviously for the audience to think is Jax gonna die. Of course, we know that Chibs could never shoot him. All right, so and that was the whole purpose of that was right.
Well, they tried to make us believe that he would because they had that conversation on the rooftop.
Right.
And we weren't privy to it. All he says is, you got to do what I asked you to do, brother. He says, I'll do it for you. And so, I think there are people that probably watch it and go, oh my God, is he going to shoot him? Whew, he did.
Jake was like, they're going to kill him. And I was like,
I think there's plenty of people that thought that he would.
I was like, there's no way.
That was the purpose of that setup. And I think there's plenty of people that were
I'm
thinking
sure
that they're going to do it.
I just didn't think he would do that.
Yeah, I know. I didn't either. But anyways, they're done. I got this.
He says, I got this.
I got this.
Gets on his dad's bike.
Oh, here's where you know it's
and
done.
rides away.
Yeah, we knew. Now, this was interesting. He goes up to the, they put the APB out on right about this time because obviously they found Gemma and Hunter's body and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And so everything's coming to fruition now, and you see all the different scenes, and you see Sheriff Jerry and all that. Of course, Jax is at the Rock, right, which we saw several episodes ago. Remember when the club met with Juice?
Yes.
At JT's Rock, and that where he signed it, or it says his date of death, right?
Yeah, it's like a rock wall. It says JT, and it had his date of death on it.
Yep, and he's talking. First time Jax has talked to himself. He's taken in the footsteps of Juice and Gemma.
Talking to his dad.
Yep.
But you notice he doesn't call him dad. He calls him JT.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, he calls Gemma. He talks about Gemma and calls her Gemma.
Right. Yeah, true.
Kind of odd.
It is.
I never did call my mom by her first name.
Me neither, ever. Not even
my
to this
dad.
day I do.
call my dad my dad and call my mom my mom.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
kind of odd.
But this is where the state trooper, the highway patrol pulls up. They got the APBs trying to figure it out. And you can just see Jax is like, whatever. All right. He's on the old Panhead, of course. And this is what Chewie predicted that he was going to go out on, is on the old Panhead. And, of course, now I would call this a low-speed pursuit, not a high-speed pursuit. I don't think the old Panhead is all that quick.
No, it was definitely a low-speed pursuit with motorcycles, SUVs, Chargers, Ford Explorers. I mean, they had every police car.
Oh, dude, they had like
I was surprised they didn't have like an unmarked Corvette or something.
I'm not going to lie to you. That's out of most policy of most police departments. 2 in a tertiary. There was like 25. That was the old O.J. Simpson chase right there, dude.
Yeah.
But they got the old sky shots and all that. It was all for Hollywooded up, dude. But definitely not a high speed pursuit. Would you say, Chewy? Kind of low speed pursuit.
No, it was. Yeah, it was like, jeez.
And honestly,
or a guy on a motorcycle.
I was hoping my prediction would come true, which he just rode off a cliff into the sunset, but that didn't happen. And of course, we see the truck, and as we stated earlier, that truck had Papa's goods right on the side of it.
It sure did.
Yeah, it did. And when I saw the truck, and I saw Michael Chiklis in the truck, I'm like, oh yeah, shit, that's gonna be the end. Because
they brought him back around.
Yep, and he ended the shield,
Did
He was
he?
the main guy at the very last scene. Well, he was the main character in The Shield, and Sutter, of course, wrote that. And now,
He was one of the writers. He wasn't like the writer for The Shield, but he was one
there
of them.
was two of them.
Yeah.
It was him, but it's kind of symbolic too, because the only reason he's coming this way is because of taking Gemma. Otherwise, he would have missed it totally. He would have been there. He wouldn't have been on that road if it wouldn't have been for having to take Gemma off.
He took Gemma to her final
Kinda
resting
symbolic.
place, and he took Jax there too.
Symbolic.
Yeah,
Yep.
good point.
My wife, who her father's a truck driver, she said when she saw that scene, all she could think of is, no, don't pull in front of the truck. That driver's got to live with that the rest of his life.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and not even his fault, but yeah, exactly. People don't want to live with that. All right, so we see the Raven, very symbolic, and he flies off right before. And the funny thing is, this is where Jax takes his hands off the bike, right? And he does the old, he's flying free. I'm a free bird.
Yep.
I'm a free bird.
Yep.
I wonder why, and I didn't see him lock the throttle on that bike.
I think he did. I was
he did
looking
something
for
with it.
I was looking for it.
Did he? I saw him twist the throttle. That was
he
it.
twisted the throttle, and I was looking. He had to have locked
Those little
it.
bikes didn't have throttle locks that I'm aware of.
I don't know.
No, you wouldn't
You
think
can
so.
put them on though. I don't
whatever.
know.
But
Details.
But the funny thing is, Jax wasn't supposed to take his hands off the handlebars like that. That was if they were going to do that. In fact, his Sons and Anarchy afterwards, they talked about that a little bit. That Jax went out of protocol on that. And Paris Barclay was like, "Oh crap," because there was a semi and it was going slow. You know, but they were going towards each other, and Jax, in his own way, decided to take. They were gonna have a stunt guy do that, and Jax ended up doing it, and they just filmed it anyways. And they're like, but he got in a little heat after that, dude. Got in a little heat for actually taking
Riding
his hands.
his bike with no handlebars.
Right. I can ride my dude. Haven't heard that in a while. Oh God, dude. But yeah, quite a scene, and the Raven heads off into the clouds, and it's all like slow motion. And
at first, I thought they weren't going to show him hit the truck when they showed the.
There you go, Matt.
With no handlebars. With no handlebars.
Jax was playing. All right, go ahead.
When they showed the crow flying, when they kind of left it, I thought, oh, geez, they're going to end it that way. I thought they were just going to end it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
I was
They
like,
could've
oh,
ended with-
shit, they're going to end it that way.
He's going towards the truck. We
And
don't
then
see it. And then the crow goes into the...
and I'm like, they're going to end it that way? But then they go back and they actually show him go right into the truck. And then
yeah. And then we see the two ravens, right? So we assume one is Jax. He became a raven. And then the homeless lady is there with her bread, the same piece of bread that she left on that little ledge that she was sitting on. And we see the symbolic blood or the wine dripping towards the bread. And of course, the true crows or ravens, fly off and into Never Neverland. And that was this whole symbolic thing about the raven and the homeless lady.
For me, you're saying it was the homeless lady and Jax flying off,
right?
And
Only
I think that's
because
fair.
they ended up with that same exact piece of bread that she left on the ledge, ended up on the side of the freeway.
I think that's fair. When I watched it originally, though, I didn't feel that way. I thought it was JT and Jax flying off, like JT swoop. Because the way I watched it,
if the bread wouldn't have been there, that same piece of bread, I would have thought that.
Yeah, so the one bird swoops down, the other one takes off. In my opinion, it was JT coming out, picking up his son, and flying off to wherever.
Yep. Well, that's interesting. That's another interesting way to look at it. And really, it can be what you want.
Exactly.
We also didn't mention, they kind of, during this whole thing, they're kind of going and showing different scenes. They're showing the detective, what's her name?
Sheriff Jerry?
No, the other one.
D.A. Patterson?
D.A. Patterson. They're kind of showing different scenes. And they go and they show Nero and Wendy, and they're traveling down the road. And it shows Abel in the back seat of the car. And he's coloring.
Yeah.
And he's got the ring, the sun's ring. And he's twisting it. He's twirling it around his finger. And he's got this weird look on his face, too.
That poor child always did have a look on his face. As Justin said, Oscar says it looks like he's had a lobotomy.
Yeah.
But it does. It's not much. It's subtle, but it does leave it open for a possibility of Second Nine, or whatever you want to call it. Sons of Anarchy Reloaded.
Glenn Terry in the chat room says Gemma's crows. Interesting.
Souls.
They
yeah.
were ravens, but is a raven same thing, right?
More or
I mean,
less
I don't know.
blackbirds.
They were definitely what they called ravens, but yeah.
That's true.
Good call.
Yeah, good call.
So good job, Glenn, bringing that up. It was all
his ravens taking him home.
Yep. And
Sure. I think it's whatever you want it to be.
yeah, exactly. So, yep, there we go, guys, and that's it. Now let's talk about, before we wrap it up here, let's talk about this whole. I'll give you my quick rundown. So, because we all want to know what happened, and this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about anticlimactic. They could have tied up a few things. So, as this music's playing in the back, and you see all these outro scenes, why couldn't they have done a quick scene? And this is just me because I'm a professional writer, Lurch.
Oh yes, you are.
FYI.
Yeah.
Now, if it was my ball game, so I would have wrote into that little ending scene. I would have seen Nero and the boys and Wendy get to the farm.
Yes.
And I would have seen the boys playing with goats and whatever. And they would have been on this farm, and we would have known that everything was okay. That they would have found out that somehow got word that Jax died.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
And I would have ended up with somehow Sheriff Jerry in her capacity as a sheriff later, several years later, doing her thing. I would have liked the Abel. I would have liked to know. And again, this is just me in my perfect world, which is what this podcast is about. It's about fun and talking about this stuff. But I would have liked to see Abel either grow up and either be at the head of the table or be, a doctor or lawyer or something.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So we know that happened, that was okay. And I would have liked to see the club. I think they could have put something in with the club and Chibs and Tig and T.O. Now that they have a black member, we could have saw into the future that they're all sitting at a table, that things are well. Maybe they're at a barbecue, and maybe because they did get out. Jax got them out of guns before he died. Mm-hmm. They were out of guns. They were not in this mix of Connor and all this. And I think that they could have did a scene with the club and Chibs sitting at the head of the table and all is well. And maybe Jack's old bike is in there. The bike that crashed, and they fixed it up again, and it's now in a display, kind of like JT's.
The old panhead. He's got the old 2014 Street Glide.
No, or even the panhead again, because he wrecked that. Probably be mutilated, I know. Yeah. Hit a semi. Unrealistically, we're cops.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And if this was a definitive end to this series, you would get that.
Right, but that's what we're here for. The podcast. That's what we're here for.
What I'm saying is,
we're putting it to bed for people. We're putting what happened.
There's going to be more to this. This isn't the definitive end. There's a reason you didn't get that information.
Right.
That's a reason these things aren't wrapped up.
Well, it's really your turn in a second, so you better start thinking.
All right.
You really
this
think
is my
there's going to be? You really think there's going to be more?
Before we get into that, let's finish our ending.
Okay.
So, again, I would have liked to see the scenes with the club and how that ended up. Of course, Abel and Wendy and Nero and Sheriff Jerry, and just some sort of insight. And I think that would have, and I would have liked to see just Marks and all them going out so easy. I didn't like that.
Yeah. It was hurried.
It was hurried, and Borowski going out and all that. So there's my happy little end, and that's what I want to think in my mind. So go ahead and your turn, and then you get to go how you think it ended into the future. Go ahead, Chewy.
I just think, like I said before, I think that the way that Sutter was doing this is, in the end, Jack says he wants his kids to just hate him, to want nothing to do with him. And so part of this ending where he commits suicide is kind of where the kids, and like, again, I'm not, if I offend somebody by saying this, I'm not trying to
quit trying to be politically correct,
but him committing suicide is the easy, they kind of think of it as a failure. It's an easy way out. And that's totally what he wanted his kids to think of him. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want his kids to have
a coward.
As a coward. Doesn't want his kids to have any part of this club. And committing suicide, being the criminal, the murderer, this is all part of it.
Come join the murder, Chewy.
And that's how how I took it. I took it as him just committing suicide was the way of just finalizing of who he was.
Right.
Basically,
the killer, the dirtbag, the coward.
So good,
very good.
And that's just another part. His kids are going to know he committed suicide
Because it's going to come out. Yes or no? Did you think Nero ends up balls deep in?
I don't know. I don't think Wendy would go there.
Did I not just say yes or no?
No.
You said yes or no?
I said yes or no.
No, I don't think Wendy would go
Matt,
there.
yes or no? Balls
Yes.
deep in. Definitely. I'm a yes. Nero is balls deep in Wendy. He'd be a fool not to. Okay. Anything else on your visions into what happened here?
No.
Lurch.
We can all draw into the future and
No,
think
that
of-
is not what we're doing. You're going to make how you think the story ended
It didn't end.
for fun. No,
It didn't end. I already told you
If
it didn't end.
But listen, because it's fun, dude.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to say it didn't end, and it's left open. It's left a little bit closed, but it's left a little bit open so that there could be a movie.
But
there
if you
could
had
be
to finish it, if
I
you
know,
had to
I know.
finish it.
Let me finish what I'm
Okay.
saying. Is that there's a reason it was left the way they did. They
I
closed
agree
up
with
some
all that.
things, and they left some things open so that they could do a movie or they can do
I agree.
redo or whatever. In my mind,
Just for fun. I agree. They
in
left
my
it open for a
mind,
reason.
here's what I'm saying. Jimmy Smits, aka Nero, goes to the ranch with Wendy, and they're out in this middle of nowhere in this farm, and she's strutting around in her bikini, and it takes him a while. You know, he has these thoughts about Wendy, but he knows it's not right. You know? and he fights these thoughts for a long time.
Do you think?
But he grows.
See, this is what I wanted.
He grows in affection, not just for Wendy as a person and as a mother, but he also kind of feels like those children are his. Jack's left his kids to him, so now he's their father, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And so a father and a mother got to be together. So at some point, she's going to be out
That's
picking
funny.
dandelions, and he's going to pick himself some ass.
And he was being resistive, and now he's like, I can finish this story. That's what I'm talking
And
about.
the club, they get back into criminal activity, and they go down the toilet.
They do, huh?
Oh,
the
yes.
club.
Yeah,
Okay.
come
So they
on
don't
now.
stay clean.
I would think
No.
without Jax,
No.
they would go down to 2.
No, I think that Chibs would try his best, but that they wouldn't be able to stay away from it. They got too many members that are into that kind of stuff. And Sheriff Jerry finds another guy to screw. Maybe I'm happy. I'm not sure.
Oh, I love it.
But I think we all see that in the future, old Abel doesn't stay away from his father's past.
No.
It may not be quite the same. It may not be a motorcycle club, whatever, but he's definitely, that kid is old enough. He knows what his grandmother did to his mother. And these things at 5 years old, 6 years old, however that kid is he's old enough to be scarred. He's old
They
enough to
will
be damaged.
remember. They will
Jack
remember.
said, "My kids are safe." He's wrong. Maybe the littlest one is, but Abel's not. Abel's old enough to know what happened. He's old enough to be scarred, and that kid is going to be damaged.
He's
for life.
obviously scarred. He's cutting himself. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
that
right.
kid's going to do something. Whether or not it's set up so that they can do it, whether they do it or not, I don't know. There's definitely, and I think you and your wife had talked about it, where you see in the future Abel at the head of the table or a table. There's definitely enough information there. The way this thing ended, they could go that way. There was some talk about doing a prequel and doing a series about the first 9. We'll see. He could go either way. He could do a first 9. He can do a second 9, third 9, whatever. This could go either
Yep.
a prequel or part 2.
I agree. I like it, Lurch.
But
You're the man.
Nero's
And he was being resistive.
Yeah.
He didn't want to pretend at first.
Nero's tapping that ass.
at the end of the day.
Bow, wow,
Nero's
wow.
tapping that ass. Oh my God! Anything before we close out here, guys? It's been quite a ride doing these.
Great show. Great writing. I enjoyed it very much so. I really like the show. I hope they do something else. I liked it. I like Kurt Sutter's writing. I liked him in The Shield when he did those things. And this is one of the best shows that I've seen on television. So.
Yep, I think there'll be a movie or something.
He's got a twisted sense about him, and which is interesting. It's fictional. It's not real life, so it's fun to watch. We said before, this thing is so far out there with the death and the murder and the mayhem, and we don't condone any of it.
Right.
But it's fictional. It's entertaining, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. So I would like to see him do something else, whether it's a motorcycle club or whatever.
I agree. And we're going to keep coming at you strong here, guys, on the Law Abiding Biker podcast. This was just an extra thing we did. We're going to keep coming at you week after week like we have for many years now, and keep putting out the content to you. And maybe in the future, if an interesting motorcycle show comes up, who knows, or something that we want to spin off on.
Yeah.
We're always, our foundation, guys, is the Law Abiding Biker Podcast, which is our weekly motorcycle podcast. We'll always keep coming at you guys with that. If we choose to get involved with another TV series of some sort that's motorcycle related, it's a possibility,
It
but
could happen.
it's been a lot of work, but very rewarding. We met a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
We met a lot of cool extra people. I mean, we have our core, lab podcast listeners and supporters, and we appreciate that so much. But we all know that a lot of extra listeners came over because of Sons of Anarchy.
Mm-hmm.
And we thank you guys so much for that and the opportunity to meet you guys, the guys that emailed and were involved with the chat room and the social media and all that. We really appreciate you guys getting involved. Hopefully you'll stay with us as far as the regular podcast goes, because we have a ton of great content when it comes to everything motorcycle, the 99%ers, the motorcycle majority, all that good stuff. All right, guys, and don't forget we do have that giveaway. We got the giveaway. So giveaway is a T-shirt, which is an SOA T-shirt, an SOA mug, and an SOA beanie,
And a lab T-shirt too.
We're also going to give you a Law Abiding Biker T-shirt. Absolutely, it's a nice little package, guys.
We warn you, if you wear your Law Abiding Biker
caution.
T-shirt, you may be the object of affection from all the lovely ladies in your neighborhood and wherever else you go. I would suggest that you strap on a Kevlar vest.
Yep, pretty much.
And you're going to get mauled.
Yeah. Oh,
Be
you will.
prepared.
And it's
Kind of like
the
one of
house.
those Axe commercials,
Yeah, totally, dude.
Oh, you put on your MILF. You put on your, what I was about to say is you put on your lab T-shirt and all the MILFs chase you down.
Yep, that's for sure.
It could happen.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to get hooked up, lawabidingbiker.com/giveaway. It does, you got to enter by December 31st, 2014. Ends at midnight. And you'll go to that page and it tells you what to do. You got to number one thing is you got to comment on this blog.
I think we should add a little something in on the Law Abiding Biker T-shirt.
Okay.
Autographed by the podcast hosts.
Can we do that? Is there a marker for that?
Yeah, you just get a paint marker.
Oh, okay.
Get one of those silver ones or
Just
whatever.
get a silver
let's do
paint
it.
marker and we can all sign it.
I like it.
Let's up
there
the
you go.
ante a little bit.
Up the ante.
I
like
don't think it's worth much more, but it'd be kind of cool to the listeners to have it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine my signatures were diddly poo, but it might make it a little more personal.
Yeah,
kinda
I
cool.
like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So there you go. Autographed Law Abiding Biker T-shirt, the mug, the other T-shirt, the coffee mug, and all that. We'll get that to you guys. Again, lawabidingbiker.com/giveaway. The rules are you gotta leave a comment on this page, and it's lawabidingbiker.com/SOA17. That's the notes for this episode. You can comment right there. Comment however you want. If you liked how it ended, if you don't like how the Sons of Anarchy season ended, whatever you want to tell us, guys, that's the number one thing to get you in. And then we'll put all those in a hat and we'll draw it. And then we're going to make sure you have to be like our Facebook page. You have to follow us on Twitter. You got to be in the email club, lawabidingbiker.com/email club. Get signed up there. And last, you got to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's all right there on the giveaway page, guys. And we want to give back to you guys for the holiday season, so to speak. And so that's why we put this little package together. So, yeah, with that said, any last comments, guys?
I would like to say that Glenn Terry, who's in the live chat room, is rubbing it in. He says, well, it's going to be 68 degrees in the morning. I'm going riding.
Oh, my God, dude,
Good
because it's
Lord.
like foggy and freezing here,
Oh,
man. All right, guys. Peace out. Really appreciate it, guys. And we will be catching you on the next episode. All right. Till then, keep the rubber side down.
And the shiny side up.
Bunch of freaky, deaky Sons of Anarchy fans.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Great time.
We're out like a trout.
Bye-bam.